All right, welcome to the Eric Tries to. Oh, this is Eric from Eric Tries Too Hard podcast and skill-based game, the fantasy football podcast that I do. I'm back for another year of mock drafts. This is the third one I'm doing. This is the week before the preseason. I'll be doing these 12 mock drafts, all 12-team PPR, where I go into. Wow, this is boring. This is the first one you're hearing. Please stick around. Don't leave because I'm fucking having a brain fart here. So what I'm doing is before each week, so it'll be before the first week of the preseason, before the second week, before the third week, and right before the fourth week. I'm not going to bother doing one for the fourth week unless something drastically changes. I'm doing 3 podcasts each of those weeks. One of them I'll have a pick in the top 4. The next I'll have a pick 5 through 8. And then one more with the 9th through 12th. So I've already done a first pick and a 10th pick, so now I'm in the middle range where I'm going 7th pick. I'll be taking different picks in those 3 ranges for each of the next 3 weeks. I'll also I actually got some feedback to do some auction drafts, so I'll do some of those too. I'll do one of those every week, and it should be fun. Some things to know about me: I'm not a football player expert. I use beersheets and fantasypros and listen to podcasts and check out the Reddit fantasy football page like any other hardcore fantasy player. But what I'm good at is strategy. That's what you'll find in my mock drafts. So if I pick a player who you disagree with, I'll give my rationale. But if you disagree, listen to the strategy decision making that I'm basing this on. Also, my strategy of where to take certain positions and kind of how to alter your strategy in the draft. So think about those things, even if you disagree with a player. Feel free to pause to comment on the videos to tell me which player I should have taken. But you know what? If a player gets injured in the next 3 weeks, but I took them early here, I don't want to hear about that because I'm well aware that they got hurt after I drafted them. All right, so like I said, it's PPR, but again, you can readjust your values of different positions based on what your league plays in. So, all right, here's who's gone so far. Antonio Brown, typical number 1 pick. Todd Gurley, I'm seeing jump up before Julio Jones and Odell Beckham a lot. Odell Beckham Jr., David Johnson, and Julio Jones. Now, it seemed to be, for the last month or so, the de facto top 3 were Antonio Brown, ODB, and Julio Jones. It's nice to see some, even though I disagree with it, I like seeing the running backs creep up because that means you can have a mid-round pick and still get somebody decent. Here's a classic battle for pick 7. Do you go and grab Gronk as the number 1 tight end? I'm not a huge fan of that. I love Le'Veon Bell and AJ Green, but I'm thinking you can get them possibly in the second round with this. Ezekiel Elliott is so tempting in here. I think I might want to take DeAndre Hopkins. I like DeAndre Hopkins a lot. And I'm not worried about fuck. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I love the upside. I mean, who doesn't love the upside of Ezekiel Elliott? But DeAndre Hopkins is a player I very much believe in, and I'm not worried about the quarterback change. I'm happy about that. I'm also not worried about Lamar Miller joining the team. We always have these fears of I don't know, DeAndre Hopkins. The fear of he's not the only guy there, so he's not going to get as much work. It's like, well, if the skill is there, then the opportunities, even if they have a few fewer opportunities, then they're still going to get the same results, if not better, because then the teams can't just zero in on them. And also, you could argue he'd get more opportunities because think about it. Okay, people will be like, oh yeah, they have better wide receiving core, they have a better quarterback, and they have a much better running back. So with the running back in mind, they're like, oh, Lamar Miller's going to get all this work and it'll take away from Hopkins. But it's like the opportunities that Hopkins is going to have, because the offense will have more opportunities, is going to vastly outweigh anything Miller takes from him. So if you see what I'm saying, let's say their drives are a lot longer. That's going to give Hopkins far more opportunities than if they don't have anybody else to throw to or who can make plays. And they have shorter drives, but Hopkins gets a more higher percentage of the work. I'd rather have 20% of 100 of something, which would give me 20, than have 50% of 50 of something. No, wait, I'm an idiot, and I've been drinking. Okay, you know what I'm saying. I'd rather have 20% of 100 then have 20% of 20. There. That's what I mean. Oh, man. Oh, one more time with the math. God damn it. I'm so tired. I'd rather have 100. Good God, if you're still listening to this, you are a champion. I'd rather have 20% of 100 than 30% of 50. Okay, there we go. That's what I mean to say. 100, 30% of 50. No, that's why I'm doing the math wrong. Oh my God, I'm such an idiot. Should I just start over? Jesus Christ. All right, AJ Green. I love AJ Green. I'm not surprised he jumped up. I'm so embarrassed right now. Le'Veon Bell is gone. Okay, so the 10th player picked Le'Veon Bell. That's going to be important in the future. So remember, 10th person picked Le'Veon Bell. I like Jordy. Oh, this is where you have a lot of question marks about people. Good kid. I really like picking early this year. I love the people I can get a little later on. I'm going to take Jordy. God damn, I'm going to take Jordy. Okay, so let's see. All right. And I got a couple of wide receivers. I like Jordy Nelson. There's all these. So here's the problem. These like 10 people in a row that I'd like to take above a lot of the people beneath them is that they're all like major question marks. And so does Jordy Nelson. I just like the idea of Jordy Nelson's upside and the fact that it's a wide receiver in a PPR league over top a running back for a couple of reasons. One, the running backs go later. That you can go that zero RB strategy and pick up a lot of potentially great running backs, but also because in a PPR format you're almost universally playing a wide receiver in your flex. And I'm a very big proponent, if you watch my other videos, of favoring positions that require more players. Like the fact that you need 2 running backs or 2 wide receivers over 1 quarterback or 1 tight end, no matter how many points the quarterback is scoring over the year, it makes those other positions so much more valuable. Especially just because of how deep they go and how the number 6 quarterback isn't that much different than a number 13 quarterback, or even higher up if you're streaming and you're good at it. But but then the difference between like the number 10 RB, here goes the math again, no, and the number like 27 RB is so vastly different to the point where one is unplayable and the other is not. It's just that's how deep the positions have to go. And so when I'm looking at a full point PPR league, I'm really looking at wide receivers as head and shoulders better than running backs. So we're looking at wide receiver has 3 positions you need to fill, making it that much more important. Granted, PPR makes wide receiver a much deeper position, but I really go for consistency in my drafts, which is why, you could look at some of those players that I took Jordy Nelson over and agonized over, and you could be like, no, some of them are much better. I like them a lot better. Great. If you have that faith in them, that's awesome. That's what I think you should be going on in your first couple of picks, is that faith and consistency. That's why I'm not going to get Ezekiel Elliott as much as the Dallas O-line is just so amazing, and how if Ezekiel Elliott is everything we expect him to be, having him on your team is going to be one of the most fun aspects of your season. It's going to be a lot of fun getting to watch all of that unfold. It's going to be awesome. Okay, there goes Aaron Rodgers. Okay, so I also mentioned earlier about the running backs you can take. I've been targeting D'Angelo Williams a lot, so it's also important to, if you're like me and think it's great to have that guy for the first 4 weeks at potentially running back 1 potential, then it's awesome to have him because you have 4 weeks to figure out someone else on the waiver wire for when he gets pushed back when Le'Veon Bell starts playing. And the only other person who tends to reach for them is the Le'Veon Bell owner, which is the person who drafted 10th. So I just have to kind of watch for them and decide if it's worth like when it's worth grabbing it. Keenan Allen's gone. I would have loved Keenan Allen. I also like Demaryius Thomas a lot this year. I just kind of had somebody commenting on what's it called on one of the past YouTube videos about like, do you really want Demaryius Thomas because Sanchez is throwing to him? Like, it's like I'm not too worried about that as Peyton Manning wasn't that much more of a downgrade, you know. And compared to the other people grabbing, I mean, there's Cam Newton, but I really don't like taking a quarterback, especially in a, I mean, it's running quarterback, but it has 4 points per touchdown. So this is a very, oh man, I hate this spot. No, sorry, someone else can have the awesome value of Cam Newton. I will find somebody much later that I'll be very happy about. I'm sure of it. Demaryius Thomas. Okay, anyway, I'm not worried about the Sanchez thing because Peyton Manning wasn't exactly killing it last year either. Plus, and I got to look up the stats because I don't remember the exact numbers, but I'm pretty sure, especially in PPR, Demaryius Thomas was killing it with fucking Tim Tebow. So, like, I'm not, and that was before he and Peyton really worked together to, like, develop DT's skills. So I don't think he's going to go, I think he is definitely, like, a high second-round pick that's going in the third round, and I will happily grab him every single time. Happily, happily, happily. God damn it, I don't want to have to edit anything, but I sounded like an idiot with that math thing earlier. Holy shit. Trying to stay calm and relaxed. Trying to come off. Oh, and there's Jordan Reed. I am so not a fan of taking Jordan Reed. If you don't have Gronk, I don't take a tight end forever until, like, quarterback and tight end. I say this in every video, but those are positions where if I'm not getting value on them, and not value over other people, like, oh good, I can snag a tail end, tiered guy late. I'm not a huge fan of that necessarily. It's just like when I find value in that position. Sorry, I should clarify. It's not best player available is when I'll pick a quarterback. It's when I can kind of get a steal on somebody I believe in. All right, Baldwin, Forte, Lewis. Oh man, this is another spot. See, because here I could take Russell Wilson or Greg Olsen, but I don't feel like I'm getting that great of a value for a fourth round out of either of those positions. Oh man, I like Michael Floyd, but I think John Brown will probably still be available when I get my thing back. I love Arian Foster. Oh man, D'Angelo Williams. No, I'm not. I'll take him 3 rounds if I have to. Doug Baldwin, Matt Forte, Deion Lewis, Decker. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'll take Doug Baldwin. I'm not too thrilled with that particular pick, but of all these people, I guess I could have taken Moncrief, but no, that's still too much of a question mark. But if Doug Baldwin is Russell Wilson's main guy, and I do have faith in Russell Wilson. If this is a two-quarterback league, that changes the whole strategy of it. Quarterbacks instantly jump up crazy high. And I like Russell Wilson a lot. I do have faith in him. And based on the personnel that they have, and based on the end of last year, I see the end of last year as a progression, not a fluke. And so I think Doug Baldwin is a completely reasonable. He's my 4th wide receiver, and yes, I realize I just took 4 wide receivers in a row. But the thing is, in the next 2 or 3 rounds, I anticipate having a couple of solid running backs that I want to keep. That I want just the same as the running backs who are about to go, like Deion Lewis, Matt Forte. I'm just as happy with them as I'd be with like Arian Foster. Yeah, Arian Foster. Even Matt Jones, I think. Yeah, right. And then D'Angelo Williams, Danny Woodhead's PPR. Because that's the beauty. Like D'Angelo Williams floating around here is kind of a great saving grace for anyone who's willing to do what I just did. And yeah, I'm not going to be starting Doug Baldwin, but the truth is, if one of my other 3 don't hit, or they get injured, or whatever it is, having that 4th thing, it's so important. I'm drafting, I say this every time, because people will see picks like that and be like, what the hell are you doing? The strategy is that I'm not drafting to win week 1, I'm drafting to win the whole league. Like, that's a big difference that I think a lot of people don't do. They really like, what's the best lineup that I can have from week 1 This is like, you will have a player get injured. You will have a player suck who you drafted pretty highly. You will have something like that will happen. If it doesn't, great and fine. And you can, but to me, it's all about the sustainability. And there goes Roethlisberger and Drew Brees and Russell Wilson. Yeah, see those quarterbacks that fly off right there. I'm glad they're gone. I'm hoping Andrew Luck will be gone before it gets to me. Because then I'll feel better about not taking him, because that dude could explode. Grabbing him in the 5th would be a fantastic deal. Especially if I'm taking somebody like Arian Foster over Andrew Luck. Or DeMarco Murray. Tavius Murray is still, Jesus Christ. There goes Arian Foster. Somebody could have just gotten a great deal. There's Jeremy Hill. Yeah, there's a bunch of running backs I'll be happy to have 2 of. So the Le'Veon Bell owner has 2 picks in front of me. One of them is going to go to D'Angelo Williams. So here's the thing where it's like, I'm probably going to take D'Angelo Williams right now, because here's the thing, I don't have a running back. He's given me 4 weeks, as of now, that's what the suspension is, 4 weeks of running back 1 quality, then that's what I need for the team that I'm drafting right now. And I'll have those 4 weeks to figure some shit out, to either one of my bench running backs blows up, or whatever, because with the guy who took Le'Veon Bell having 2 picks, and him being this close up, he's going to be gone before I get my next pick. If the guy who took him was like outside of this range, I would probably not take him here, take somebody else. But here's the thing, I want 2 running backs in these next 2 rounds based on who's available and my needs. So I'm going to take D'Angelo Williams because he's not going to be there. There's a couple of other running backs that I'd like that I'll be happy with no matter who I get. So that's why, the scarcity. I'm not going to have D'Angelo Williams come back to me, but I will have one of those other running backs likely come back to me that I want. The other ones are including Matt Jones, Jeremy Hill, they're gone. I figured they'd gone. Those are both guys who I'd love to take, but I feel like there are higher risks, and since I don't have a running back, I'd rather have somebody who's as sure of a lock as possible for at least the first 4 weeks. So I can get Latavius Murray here. No, I'm not. I'd still be happy with DeMarco Murray or Danny Woodhead. Failing those, I could grab an Andrew Luck and not feel too... Okay, somebody just took Andrew Luck. They got 2 picks ahead. They could take the guys I want. Whatever. I really want Danny Woodhead. I want Frank Gore's fine. I'd like to take John Brown, but obviously that would be kind of overkill. All right, since they're all available... Good God, am I taking DeMarco Murray here? I mean, I want to just take Danny Woodhead and be like, it's Danny Woodhead. Yeah, it's PPR. God damn, though. DeMarco Murray. Nope, Danny Woodhead it is, I think. Yeah. Danny Woodhead. All right. So I got the guys I wanted. I got Danny Woodhead and D'Angelo Williams. Couple that with DeAndre Hopkins, Jordy Nelson, and Demaryius Thomas. See, it looks sexy as shit to me, but I know a lot of people aren't thrilled with Demaryius Thomas. But, like, right now, have I been willing to... no, none of those guys are coming back to me, but, like... I could have, all I wanted to do right there was just grab John Brown. That's what I wanted. I just want all the wide receivers, but that would be amazing, grabbing John Brown in that spot. But you know what, I took Doug Baldwin, and what's funny is I could have had, I could almost switch, god damn, I really have a good feeling about John Brown. Yeah, whatever. Alright, so now that I have 2 running backs, now I can just grab wide receivers and running backs, meanwhile checking out tight ends and quarterbacks for value based on who's been taken already. I'm probably going to end up doing what I tend to do a lot, which is, I think there was rumors of an injury, but I think he's fine. Julius Thomas and also Antonio Gates are both going super late, and I'm fine with them. I feel like they'll do just as well as close to as 7th or 8th best tight end. And for the advantages I've gotten at the other positions, I'm happy with. I'm happy taking a little bit of a hit on that, on those 2, and then also I'll take one of them. And then a quarterback is probably going to end up being Bortles or Rivers, which is funny because those are the quarterbacks that correspond to the tight ends. I didn't realize that till now. That's probably what I'll end up doing. And in the meantime, taking... there's Phillip Rivers and Blake Bortles coming up pretty soon. Tom Brady's still available? Jesus. if I can get Tom Brady coming back to me, I'm going to be very thrilled with that. I love playing around with these suspensions because when there's guys who go so low because you're only getting them for a certain amount of games, that's insane to me because it's like there are players people are taking before Tom Brady who are like, well, they're going to be good half to 2/3 of the year, but you never know what weeks those are going to be. But with Tom Brady, you can be pretty certain if he's playing, he's going to be doing well. And so, based on the last couple of years, like he'd be in the top, 3, right? Top 3, 4. If he didn't have a suspension, I think that's where he was going before the suspension came down. That person's gonna time out and take Tom Brady, aren't they? No, John Brown, Frank Gore, and Gordon. Come on, hang in there. Just 3 more picks. I wonder how many people have. I wonder how many people have quarterbacks. That's the one thing I like ESPN. The one thing I really like about Fantasy Football Calculator is that they show every team right on the screen. So you can really just go, all right, what's the type of team this person's building? What's the type of team that person's building? And based on that, I know I can click from each team, but I'm not gonna do that like one by one. Wait, can I order this by team? Yeah, because if I can do a draft summary by team, then that would be awesome. And can I just switch teams or see all the teams at once? I don't know, let's just switch teams. All right, one guy to go. Come on, one guy. Just one guy. Take somebody who's not Tom Brady. Take somebody who's not Tom Brady. What's this guy's team? Sorry, does he have a quarterback? Who's he got? He does not have a quarterback, motherfucker. Ugh. I don't think I would have changed anything if I hadn't known that, because I'm not going to I'd take Danny Woodhead over Tom Brady in that situation. Because it's all the situations. Come on, don't time out and take a quarterback. He's going to time out and take a... Oh, thank God. All right, so look, Jordan Matthews, Giovanni Bernard, Amir Abdullah, there's all these people around him are not people who will make me want to take somebody other than Tom Brady. I'll take Tom Brady. Beautiful. I'll get another serviceable quarterback for 4 weeks, and there's lots of them that are going undrafted. And you know what? Here's the other thing. Depending on who's left as this goes on, I might not draft another quarterback because I would rather, at this position, wait, because a quarterback that I'll want will be on the waiver wire before the start of the first week. And I can have however much time between the draft and when the first week starts to make a switch, if I want to make a switch, or to grab somebody. But I don't have to determine. I can, right after the draft, I can drop my defense or my kicker and pick up the quarterback that I want, and then sit on it for a while, and then decide who I want to drop for my kicker, or for a replacement kicker or defense. Or if you're in a league that doesn't force you to play either one, and you're feeling strong about your first week matchup, then yeah, who gives a shit? You don't even have to pick it up. I don't know. I don't know why I said I don't know. I do know. Everything I just said is the reason why. There goes Bortles and Rivers, a few picks after Tom Brady. I guess the secret's out, huh? I love the upside of Allen Hurns. I don't trust Josh Gordon the way a lot of other people do. I like Marvin Jones a lot. Sterling Shepard's getting a Colby Fleener tight end. I don't have a tight end. Colby Fleener, that's value to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Getting Colby Fleener in the 8th round is huge value for me at that. Usually I'd wait to take somebody else, but boom, because I like him a lot this year. All right, so here's where we're at. In what I considered kind of a risky and mediocre draft. Some things fell to me. And if you agree with my rationale, I think this team looks great. If you don't like a lot of these players, some of these players, obviously, or the strategies I'm using, then obviously you're not a big fan of this team. But I don't know. This is why I'm insecure about that now. Is that I know how I feel. I know what experts I trust. I know all that stuff. But it's like, every time I see in these mock drafts, I see people talking in the chat, just talking shit. Across whatever site you're on, it doesn't matter. It always happens. Talking shit about my team is so good, my team is so good, or your team is so... Whatever it is. Every time I see a team that's bragging about itself or being bragged about by another player, it's usually not very good. And I always wonder, what am I missing? Like, what am I missing? Why don't I think this team is good? And when I cross-reference it with a lot of, expert picks and blah, 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 it still looks pretty bad. But I imagine that that's just a difference of opinion of players, and I don't want to I don't want to come across like I know everything about football. What I know about is strategy, and I think the rationale of the strategy, this team is pretty damn good. The other two teams I had, I thought one was fine and one was pretty good, but in the one that was just like fine, I think I drafted pretty well. I just had to make do with a lot of shitty circumstances. And then another one, I felt pretty good about it, but I didn't even think I drafted or had to draft that well. I thought the right players that I wanted just fell into my lap. This one I had to do some work, and some players fell into my lap, and I'm very happy with the way that it's looking right now. All right, Vincent Jackson. I like Vincent Jackson, but because my wide receivers are so strong that I think by the time he kind of craps out for the year, which I think will happen. Sorry, Vinny. I think will happen. It will be before I would need to use him anyway. Charles Sims. I like Charles Sims. I like Michael Thomas. But because of the running back situation and it's PPR, I'm going to take Charles Sims. I still like Michael Thomas. I like Travis Benjamin, but Michael Thomas more. I also like Dorsett. Who else am I interested in? There's a lot of these players, like backups or like high upside rookies who it's unlikely who might go undrafted, who like could be great like flyers or handcuffs, but I don't think I really have handcuff need. I'm taking team handcuff. But with all that in consideration, some of these players that look like they could be great, but will go undrafted, I'm not going to draft them. I'm going to take players who won't be there on the waiver wire, who I don't think will be there on the waiver wire. There goes Dorsett. Come on, 2 more picks. Let me get Michael Thomas. Failing that, Travis Benjamin, I'll still be happy, but definitely want Michael Thomas. I heard who was it? Some beat reporter just today, I think, or maybe yesterday, was saying Darren Sproles is the running back to own from the Eagles. But, I wouldn't even bother taking it now because the truth is the market's going to correct itself. Just like the Arian Foster thing, I see all these people getting Arian Foster super late, and I'm not. If you notice, I talk about like Tom Brady, D'Angelo Williams, guys like that who I think are going way later than they should go. Arian Foster's one of them too. Now, Arian Foster, if he is the Arian Foster we're expecting him to be, will likely see it before the season starts. And his value will skyrocket by the time anybody's actually drafting. Again, this is a week before. Today is the day of the Hall of Fame game, which did not exactly happen. All right, Michael Thomas, beautiful. It's typically I'm very happy with my bench, but I'm always like with my quarterback and tight end. I'm like, all right, just hope for the best and be willing to stream if I need to. If like Rivers, Bortles, / Gates, Thomas don't pan out. But like here, having Brady and I'll grab any backup, really, it will be just fine. I guess I should start looking to see. Well, no, here's the next. Look at all these. I could take Tyrod, Romo, Cousins, Carr. I could take any of them and be happy with one or, streaming for the first 4 weeks, especially with this team having D'Angelo Williams. And by week 4, getting Brady, and then bumping, hopefully, like Charles Sims will be performing, and then jump up, or on the waiver wire, I'll be prioritizing running backs on the waiver wire for sure in those first 4 weeks. I got plenty of time to figure that out. And I love my tight end, I love my quarterback situation, I love my wide receivers. Yeah, I really like this team. That's cool. And this is I took pick 7. And I might have to reevaluate this based on how things are shaking up after this week, but as of like a month ago, I was hating picks, I forget which pick, it was like picks 4, and then like 8 and 12. It was like that. It was like the end of each one, or something like that. And now I'm liking some of those more now that things are kind of starting to shift in how people are drafting. Let's see. The other thing is that, like, and this is just, I mean, when you draft on Fantasy Football Calculator, which I would do, but for whatever reason, maybe it's seeing the ESPN logo or whatever the familiarity of this screen that you're looking at. My videos last year, I did like 3 ESPN and 1 Fantasy Football Calculators. The ESPN ones each got thousands, like out of nowhere, and then the Fantasy Football Calculator one got like 300. And I didn't tag any of them any differently. I didn't label them any differently. So that's kind of what I'm assuming is the background. So fine, I'll do this. But Fantasy Football Calculator is like playing this on hard mode, and oftentimes using ESPN could be playing it on like easy mode, mostly because of where they get their rankings from. Devontae Booker would be interesting. Darren Sproles could be interesting. I think right here, though. See, this is why I'm a dummy. I don't remember. I'll take Romo. I don't remember or have on hand Tony Romo's and Derek Carr's schedules. That right there, had I looked at their schedules, that would have been, for the first 4 weeks, that would have been what determined which way I was going. I would have preferred having Kirk Cousins or Tyrod Taylor, but they went with the 2 picks beforehand. And I saw some decent, like, backups and flyers, but I didn't take them there. I took the quarterback over it because none of them were ones I'm particularly thrilled about, whereas I feel like taking somebody, either Romo or Carr right there, is something I needed to do. Because if they were to be gone after this, like round, whatever, then I'm looking at Matthew Stafford, Marcus Mariota, Andy Dalton, which these aren't like the worst, but like I'd rather take the tier of players who were like on the bubble for top 12 than take guys who were like clearly 18 or whatever, around 18. And of course, all the same people are here. It's Darren Sproles. Maybe the rumors are true. And even if they're not, it's PPR. So if he's getting third down stuff, and he could be. If I had one league I won 2 years ago, where my running back one was DeMarco Murray, did pretty fucking well with that. But my running back 2 the whole year was Steven Jackson, and I mean, say what it was his last year. And he, people hated the numbers he was putting up, and I had to play him every single week that he wasn't injured. And at no point did I have a running back other than DeMarco, obviously, better than Steven Jackson. But Steven Jackson was like the 26th highest scoring PPR running back. And I know that's not great, but like when it's balanced out by having a top 3 running back, it was fine. So point being, if someone like Darren Sproles in PPR is still like just bubbling on the top 24, then I don't have that much of a disadvantage versus somebody else's second running back, especially when I have advantages at potentially 3 or 4 other positions on a week-to-week basis. And I think that's what I've done with the team, and I think that's why I'd rather take Sproles over a high upside backup or like third string guy. And I definitely wanted to take a running back there. Just to load up on running backs. Right now I got 4, right? Yeah, 4. 5 wide receivers. They're all awesome. 4 running backs. I got the 2. Yep. And Derek Carr is still available, son of a bitch. I guess I could have grabbed like another potential flyer running back, whatever. Wendell Smallwood. Yeah. I forget, Spencer Ware or Kendrick West is probably the guy, right? Kenneth Dixon, maybe? Ugh. Tim Hightower, all these guys. But who might not be here? Kenneth Dixon won't be here when all is said and done. I think he'll get drafted. I almost want to take Wendell Smallwood because I'm like, hey, if Ryan Matthews shits the bed, then I have the Eagles' backfield. That's pretty good, considering that's what I need. I might take Wendell Smallwood if he doesn't go. I like Tim Hightower. Tim Hightower actually proved himself while Mark Ingram was out. Tim Hightower might be the way to go might be a way to go. Kenyon Drake. guess. I mean, he's got... any other running backs in here? Man. Yeah, man, if I can take Wendell Smallwood... Is that who I was going to take, really? Tim Hightower or Wendell Small... both of them I think would be a coin flip. I almost want Tim Hightower because Mark Ingram does get injured, and the Philadelphia backfield might just be another... well, it's not Chip Kelly anymore, but it might end up just being like another running back by committee type thing. Tim Hightower... No, you know what? It's unlikely Wendell Smallwood is going to get drafted. But Tim Hightower, Darren McFadden, and maybe Kenyon Drake make it. But the other two, McFadden and definitely Hightower, are not getting drafted. They'll be on the waiver wire. And if I'm smart and plan things right, I can grab Tim Hightower just in case. And then if I have room. And who knows if Charles Sims just works out and is a great number 2, and Danny Woodhead performs like the number 1 he did last year in PPR, then for 4 weeks I could have 2 top 12 running backs, and then when I have to move D'Angelo down, if Charles Sims is a great number 2, then I don't even have to worry about anything else. Yeah, because again, have that advantage at quarterback, have what I believe is an advantage at tight end. I absolutely believe I have a major, major advantage at with all 3 of my wide receiver spots. All right, cool. I'm liking this. And I like my bench. This was like I was actually able to execute the wait on running back. I don't call it no running back because I took, my 5th pick was a running back? But I got to take 4 wide receivers before any other position and still managed to pull off the kind of running back heavy, 6 running back heavy strategy that I've read about, heard about, but I've never really been able to get it done because usually those guys I've been taken are gone by then. And I'm noticing just from the last week a major shift in some of these like ADPs, or at least where certain people are going. What the fuck am I doing? Taking I forget about how defenses work. I'll just be using beer sheets when that happens. But were the Rams good last? They were, right? Or is it just a schedule thing? Whatever. Oh, the Pittsburgh kicker. I definitely want the Pittsburgh kicker. I want a kicker on the team that says they'll be going for 2 all the time. Which also says to me if they're going for... God damn, they got burned by kickers so bad last year. So I just want McManus. This is fun, right? Now, Robbie Gould. I'm a Ravens fan. My wife is a Bears fan. Our cat is named Robbie after Robbie Gould. That'll be my good luck charm. I'll drop him for somebody else before the season. All right, hope you guys like that one. I'm going to go do an auction draft now and enjoy. This was the week before the preseason with those 3 drafts that I posted. I hope you get some use out of them, and then we'll see how things change as the weeks go. All right, I'll catch you all later. Why does it not go off when I need it to go off? There we go. All right.